So that's where I think it's a big part of the culture, that beauty is not something that you investigate or argue about or philosophize about, because it's, oh, well, I don't know. Do you think that's beautiful? Well, if you think that's beautiful to you. The whole thing about what's your truth. When our mindset is, oh, your truth or my truth or whose truth, that in terms of the philosophic life, that's like the lazy way out. The lazy way out in philosophic inquiry is, oh, well, I don't know. Whatever you think is good for you and whatever I think is good for me. Now, that's not to say that there isn't some kind of, that we may be touching on something that's true about the question of beauty.
Yeah.
Obviously it's true that there's something subjective about it,
right.
or it seems like that question has to be entertained. All I'm saying is that the question shouldn't be set aside as, oh, it's subjective, therefore it's not a question worth looking into anymore.
Right, yeah.
Actually, that's precisely where the debate needs to be and where the argument needs to be, and hopefully that's kind of leads us into this philosophic path.
Good morning, my fellow human beings, and welcome to the Worldview Bros. I'm Sal, and this is my brother Jim, a.k.a. Slippin' Jimmy. That's my favorite one. a.k.a. Jimbo Slice, a.k.a. Jimmy Cocoa Puff, a.k.a. The Educanator, a.k.a. Broco Baggins, a.k.a. Butterbeard. Must I go on?
No, I mean, you're doing a great job. I'm glad you're getting my names right. You did forget one, though. Jimmy Yagi. Jimmy Yagi.
Jim said right before this, he was like, man, I don't want to have my name. He's like, give me 2 minutes. Dude, that was a solid 2 minutes of thinking. That's a great one, Jimmy Yagi.
I mean, that's what my cousins used to call me in Mexico. I don't know why that's a thing.
That's like Slippin' Jimmy was right here. Jimmy Yagi just went right here.
Yeah. I mean, I love Mr. Miyagi. The fact that his name is associated with mine, in my cousin's mind for some reason, I mean, you could not ask for a better title. Yeah. So, yes, thank you.
Nice. Thank you. Awesome. Okay. Well, great. Jim, here he is. And here we are.
Yeah. I mean, by the way, I'm not like on cocaine right now, but like my allergies are kicking in. My eye is watering like crazy, man.
I don't know.
Is that something cocaine would do? Like make your I don't know. Whatever.
I promise students, we're not on cocaine.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. So, hey, we're here. You can catch us on a lot of different social media, like Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter. You can even email us at the Worldview Bros. Sorry, I'm being a little weird, right?
I don't know.
At gmail.com. All right, Jim. So let's go ahead and just dive right into it. You know, the question of what is beauty and looking at it and just kind of breaking it down.
Yeah, no, definitely. And beauty, of course, is something that we've talked about. It's come up in some of our previous episodes, but we kind of wanted to just tackle it per se on its own. Mm-hmm. And, again, in this podcast and this platform, we're really all about looking at the big questions in life, not just like political things or just cultural things or entertainment things, but really ultimately we have a big passion in addressing the most important questions in life. And kind of grasping what beauty is a question that everybody should tackle and not just kind of not worry about it. And so let's start there. Like what Aristotle would say about where you begin an inquiry. This is like something brilliant that he kind of brought to philosophy. And that is that probably the best place to start is where is common opinion about this? So like, and same thing with Plato, like what would Socrates do? Socrates would go out into the market and he would talk to people. Like,
so what does Joe Schmo say about what beauty is?
Yeah, exactly. And same thing with the other questions, like questions about justice. Okay, what do you think justice is and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
And, we don't, not to paint with a broad brush, but very often you can kind of get a feeling for what the culture at large believes about a question, And I think, see if you guys agree with me, it seems to be like in the cultural atmosphere that beauty is definitely a subjective thing. You know, like we even have sayings about it, like beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right? Or, oh, you can't argue for taste. Like, oh, how does that phrase go? It's like you can't argue for taste. Or
dude, I am the worst at sayings. Nicole will say random sayings, and I'm like, yeah, sure. You're like, was that a saying? I didn't know. Okay,
right. No, and the thing is, like when you. So that's where I think it's a big part of the culture, that beauty is not something that you investigate or argue about or philosophize about, because it's, oh, well, I don't know. Do you think that's beautiful? Well, if you think that's beautiful to you. You know, the whole thing about what's your truth. When our mindset is, oh, your truth or my truth or whose truth, that in terms of the philosophic life, that's like the lazy way out. The lazy way out in philosophic inquiry is, oh, well, I don't know. Whatever you think is good for you and whatever I think is good for me. Now, that's not to say that there isn't some kind of, that we may be touching on something that's true about the question of beauty. Yeah. Obviously, it's true that there's something subjective about it, or it seems like that question has to be entertained. All I'm saying is that the question shouldn't be set aside as, oh, it's subjective, therefore it's not a question worth looking into anymore. Right, yeah. Actually, that's precisely where the debate needs to be and where the argument needs to be, and hopefully that's kind of leads us into this philosophic path. Yeah. Obviously, the question should be, is beauty something that is in the object, or is it in the subject? And of course, that reminds me of that famous part of C.S. Lewis's, what he talks about in The Abolition of Man, that it's taken for granted in this textbook that he was analyzing, that when they look at a fountain, that fountain is beautiful. And then like the person that wrote the textbook was like, oh, when this poet says that the fountain is beautiful, he was just saying like what he felt, like it's just something that's intrinsic to him, so it has nothing to do with the fountain or something like that. Like, again, basically giving the, hey, this is what culture has decided beauty is about. It's simply subjective. So it's something that's going on in the chemistry of your brain. Pay no attention. It's like, what's the poet going to say about that? Really? It seems like you're just cutting off a mystery there, something that's worthwhile getting into. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So is beauty something that's in the object, as maybe as the poet might maybe see it, or is it something that's just in the subject? That idea, that feeling of beauty is something that is just accidentally being made in the chemistry of my brain. Yeah. Okay, does it lie within me? So anyway, that's where the argument should start. You know, those are the questions we need to look at. Yeah. So do you have any initial ideas about this so far?
So as I was preparing for this, I started to think, like, how do I approach, or what am I thinking when I call something beautiful? Or when am I thinking of the object? It's really nice to look at it. Okay. Or, and it's kind of hard to think back on when I've said things are beautiful, you know? So now it's made me really conscious in the last few days. Like, I know for sure when I see my wife and I say, wow, she's beautiful. It goes so much deeper than the fact that she looks pretty, It's the fact that I know her being, I know who she is,
Is it in fact
there's so much more substance to that.
Is it in fact the case that you've learned more about her? Yeah. Is it in fact the case that you've kind of uncovered more about the truth that...
And I have deemed that she is completely beautiful in every way, you know? Yeah. So then I start to think, it's like, well, I worked out in the mountains. So when I see the mountains, I think it's freaking beautiful, But then I think, like, okay, there's some people think that sloths are beautiful. I think sloths are the ugliest thing in the world. So where, but then again, I just said the sloth is ugly. Okay. So do I really know if that sloth is beautiful? That sloth could be freaking beautiful, but it's just ugly.
And that's where it seems like, where it seems like the subjective comes in, right?
Exactly.
It's like, and that's true. That's something that the philosophers talked about. Like, it seems like sometimes we say something is beautiful, but in relation to something else. whereas something can be ugly or beautiful depending on what you compare it to.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
You can have a diamond ring. It's like, oh, dude, that diamond ring is way better than this, like, I don't know, tin foil ring, or I don't know, I'm making it up.
Yeah.
But then to the connoisseur, it's like, oh, dude, that's a grade C class, whatever. Like, didn't you see these notches here? Like, don't you see these impurities? This is a very ugly diamond ring.
Or get this, or let's say it's some rock that has mud on it, and then it's the diamond. And they're like, you know what? This rock there's only 5 of these freaking rocks, or this is found in this place, and blah blah blah. And you're like, wow, that's pretty beautiful. You told me more about this rock.
Okay, that's where I want to get to this. I want to get into this a little bit. So let's run with it. So let's go with your example of the sloth. Okay, and if people know this about me, like I think that they're very scary. Okay, I'm very afraid of you. Dude. I mean, come on, have we talked about this before? Hang on, guys. Sloths have like a baby face. They have the face of a baby. They have claws of freaking Freddy Krueger, and they come at you in slow motion. Are you kidding me? Is there anything that's more horrifying? Guys, the sloths are horrifying. Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
Dude.
Okay. Sorry.
I wish I had a sloth to wake you up at night with. Just like put it right there.
But you know what? Despite my strong prejudice against sloths, actually, I do believe that sloths are in fact beautiful, and it's a deficiency in me that I can't really get that quite. I can't really grasp that.
Yeah.
Here's where I want to go. Again, we've said it multiple times. You guys know this. We are teachers. And, I really love my profession. And what I love about it, like this really sounds like kind of patting yourself on the back, like, oh, what do I think about my career? Obviously, I think highly of it, right? But what I really see myself doing is I want the students to love physics. It's really like, I know, put it on a Hallmark card, whatever. I want the students to love it. And I know, I have faith that of course they will love it once they kind of understand it better, right? It's like you have to uncover, you need to learn about the thing a little bit, right? You need some experience with it. You need to learn about it. And then you suddenly realize that it is beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay? And so here's the thing. That means that beauty is intrinsically connected to what? Learning it, right? We uncover it. You're learning about it. Yeah. It means that beauty is intrinsically connected to truth. Yes. When you start learning the truth about things, you see that they are beautiful. Like if I knew more about biology, if I really took the time and the effort to learn about the sloth and its ways, I don't know. And it's a little bit tongue-in-cheek that I say that they're horrifying. I mean, even in my prejudice, I recognize that they're a majestic animal. You know what I'm saying? And like you learn more about it and you see its beauty. And so, I mean, that to me, that's kind of the answer to that subjective side of things. Oh, well, to you the sloth is ugly and this other animal's. Well, if to you the sloth is ugly, that may be that you just haven't uncovered enough truth about it. You're probably not coming from a position that you're able to see its beauty.
So I guess that leads us into then asking the question of, what about the thing that I don't know anything about, but I see it? And I'm like, that's beautiful. I don't know what it is. Yeah. I don't know anything about it.
Sure.
But it's beautiful.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think, and again, we can look at ancient philosophers and modern philosophers here. Okay, let me go with this a little bit. So before Plato and Aristotle, there was a tradition like in just ancient Greece, like arising from Homer and those poets, that you can kind of see in their writings that they usually attribute beauty to things that are aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah.
So to things that are pleasing to the eye, to the ear, okay, to the senses, to the physical senses. And like when it comes to sight, like they talk a lot about how, well, if things are in the right proportion, you're kind of looking at the right proportion of things. Obviously I don't know too much about this, but like people will say, oh, well, this person is kind of objectively a good looking person because of the symmetry of their face or whatever. I don't know too much about that. But no, I think there's something to that. I think there's something to that at the level of just like optics. It's like, oh, look, who's going to deny this, right? That's a good looking woman, that's a good looking guy over there.
Yeah.
Of course there's something to it. And of course it's not
Michael Jordan is a good looking dude, man.
Oh, dude, you know what? Michael Jordan is a good looking dude. Like I've always thought this, like
here first, everyone.
Like when I was a kid, I was like, dang, he's like, I wish I was like good looking like that guy.
Yeah, exactly.
On the other hand, you have Dennis Rodman. No, not even Dennis Rodman. No, dude, no, Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen is an ugly dude. And Michael Jordan is pretty good looking.
Oh, man. Dude, what if Scottie Pippen, watches this video?
So, beauty, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen. Yeah. Anyway, no, but, okay, for real. Here's the thing. Here's where Plato comes in. Okay, and so the book that we need to read about beauty is the Symposium. When you want to learn about questions about the good and justice and things like that, the Republic. Well, beauty also comes in there. Mm-hmm. But like really the book that deals with the question of beauty, that deals with the question of beauty is the Symposium of Plato. And that is, so let me tell you kind of the gist of it. So they're talking in the Symposium. It's like it's actually a drinking party. It's interesting that they're drinking, and the question arises: what beauty is? Just like in the Republic, they start like, what is justice, right? Mm-hmm. And one of the speakers says, well, what happens is they're talking about like soldiers. And they're saying, well, you might have a soldier that will see the beauty of somebody's body. So that's kind of like where they start. Yeah. And it's like, oh, well, this person loves this other person because he's enthralled with their body, Mm-hmm. So it starts in a very physical sense, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. But then the speaker, Diotima, is speaking, and she says, well, but then when this person sees other bodies and maybe like even like enjoys other bodies, like it gets actually kind of sexual. But this person learned in that process that, oh, like it's one body and that's another body. And actually that kind of transcended to, oh, I see, like really it wasn't like this one person or this one person or this one person, but I see the beauty of body, something like that. Mm-hmm. And, but then once that person understood that, it's like, oh, okay. So it's not just an individual, but it's this broader idea. And so, but then kind of being satisfied, if you will, with that beauty, the person started looking at the beauty of the soul, okay? And started paying attention to how a person's soul can be beautiful. And, well, was it this person's soul, like the way that this person is? But then you realize, oh, this other person also has something beautiful about him or her. And so you see the beauty of that person's soul and you see the beauty of that person's soul. Well, why is it that those souls are so beautiful? Yeah. So the soul, it's talking about like their character, the way that they are and everything. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, so then you keep abstracting. So it's like you're abstracting, oh, it's these qualities that are beautiful. It's this quality that's beautiful. So for instance, like courage is a beautiful thing. Yeah. And magnanimity is a beautiful thing. Mm-hmm. Okay. Having a good sense of justice, like knowing what is just and what is unjust, like that intellect, that knowledge is a beautiful thing. Yeah. So
being outgoing, as I guess is part of being courageous, but mm-hmm. I don't know, just being very even just kind of in your face. Sometimes there's the beauty to that, and that's when you, especially I'm thinking like first impressions, and the ability to see someone's soul and how beautiful it could be, mm-hmm. Whether it's in your face or whether it's whatever they say or do or how, it's really cool when you can like if someone's kind of allows you to see that and be just the idea of being able to see that in people and see right away, oh, that's a beautiful soul.
Oh yeah. So and actually, like what I'm kind of describing here is this actually meshes really well with what Aristotle says about the virtues. And like the virtue that you're talking about, it sounds like, is the virtue of friendliness.
Yeah.
Actually. Mm-hmm. So that's a beautiful thing. When you encounter a person that's just like perfect at being friendly and like knows exactly the situation, how to handle it, not to put you at your ease, you know what I'm saying? Not to make you feel like you're imposing or make you shy. Like people that are good at getting you out, right? Yeah, almost, that's the virtue of friendliness.
Yeah, and it comes across as like kind of like not creepy, but what am I trying to think? Like it comes across as like really just super like a
sensible, no?
Yeah, but like almost like a gentle boldness.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's the best way I can. Okay. And that, and like you see it in movies too. You know, there's like that person. It's like it might be the main character of the movie. You know, like or for instance, have you seen Newsies?
Yeah.
Jack Kelly.
Oh, he's the main guy,
He's
right?
the main guy.
Oh, okay.
You know, and like he has that aura of he's friendly.
Okay.
But he has authority. And he's also just kind of like, you can approach him. He's like, hey. You know, he's got that look. Like,
okay.
You know, it's, sorry, we're getting off track. But I'm, I don't know. I just think the best way I can put it is kind of like that bold, gentle boldness. Yeah. You know, which I guess goes, obviously it's, virtue of friendliness.
Yeah. And to tie it in, this is where kind of Plato meets Aristotle actually kind of connect a little bit. And this is what Aristotle says about beauty too, that the person that is fully virtuous, is the beautiful person. He calls it the kalos kagathon. So the kalos kagathon means the good and beautiful person. And so notice that Aristotle kind of ties those two ideas of the good and the beautiful. Okay. And the same thing in the Symposium. Like it starts at a bodily level. And by seeing what is beautiful at the sensual level, the senses, sight and touch and smell and sound, right? But then you abstract from it. Okay, well, what's behind it that's beautiful, right? Yeah. And so then you see the beauty of people's souls, and you see, well, what is beautiful about that person's soul? Well, it's this virtue, and it's this virtue, and it's this virtue.
And then it leads to the Creator, man.
Well, right. I mean, like the virtues are what they are because they are good. This goes back to when we talked about what is the good. Well, the good is what we seek. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Well, really, you can put it the other way around. It's like all these terms start to actually merge together, right?
It's really cool.
Why do we seek the good? Well, because we know the good is advantageous. The good is what is going to make us happy ultimately, right?
Yeah.
Oh, exactly. So what is it that you love? Yeah. To love is to seek, right?
Yeah.
Ultimately, if you ask me, what is the beautiful? Guys, here's the answer. What is the beautiful? It's what you love. Okay?
Yeah.
Love is the action. Love is the action that is the response to seeing what is the beautiful. Okay?
Yeah.
But the beautiful then ultimately is what is going to be what is good. And that's an abstraction of the mind. It's not something that is simply something that you touch or that you feel, right? It's something that you apprehend with the intellect. Not like in a scientific manner, as something that we've talked about before, but it's a sense perception that we have in our soul, that we're able to get it when we see that something clicks. It's kind of like, I know this kind of gets us in deep waters and a big philosophical debate,
Yeah.
But things like ultimately numbers and logic, okay? Yeah. Logic and numbers cannot be found under a microscope, okay? This whole like war or divide, I guess, that goes on with like science, the scientific community and people who are afraid, like myself, how scientism kind of takes over in the community, right? Actually, the whole thing I think that's going on right now with Corona is kind of applicable here.
Yeah.
Like we give ultimate authority to the scientist. Like in our culture, who is like the high priest of society? The high priest of society is the scientist. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. And look, don't misunderstand. Like, of course, science is a very important thing and a very good thing. But when it comes to questions about like how society is going to respond to something, that's actually more a political question. Like that actually becomes like you need wisdom that a statesman is going to have. Okay. A scientist, by definition, is not necessarily going to be the best statesman, the best person that's going to get it, how to approach a situation in a reasonable manner. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if yes, the scientist is like, shut everything down, make sure that no virus escapes any home or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
And doesn't necessarily think about like the million other aspects
to that.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So anyway, sorry, I'm going on a tangent, but what I'm getting to is that, there's something that transcends even science. What science just means the experimental method. What goes even beyond it is the very capacity to reason itself. What is a number? Is a number something that you can measure in a microscope? Can you measure it with a ruler? Can you measure it with a sound device? No, it transcends the senses. Yeah. It's something that is intellectually perceived. Okay. And just like we can see that, like the simplest two-dimensional figure is the triangle, because that's the first way that you can, that's the simplest way that you can close a two-dimensional space.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So likewise, just as self-evident that is, it's also self-evident when you see some particular virtues, when you see something that is inherently good, and when you see something that is transcendently beautiful.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I'm getting at.
That's awesome. I mean, I think taking something that in my research and just looking too is, and I mentioned before too, talking about how I think like beauty is so much more than we really think, and we kind of take it for granted. Yeah. And I think that's one part of it, with it being, it transcending the senses. I love that. That's so cool. Just that thought itself. But then also, I think, if we look at it in a biblical stance, it's very clear that in the Bible, when God is mentioned, obviously the word glory comes up, and glory can be defined as like an essential worth, in the beauty of God, and it's something that He bestows on us. So I like seeing beauty as a gift as well. We and I think just us deeming and just us being able to come to the realization that it's something beyond the senses is a gift itself to be able to do that and know that. It makes me think, like on in Psalm 8:5, he says that God crowned, David says that God crowned mankind with glory and honor. He crowned us. He gave us the ability to have that glory to give back to Him. Yeah. And so I guess the way I process it is that yes, we can break down to the fact that it's seeing beyond the senses, and getting to that goodness and that truth, but then also like what's that for? Like why? And I like the idea of it being a gift that we give back. Does that make sense?
No, yeah.
Kind of like what I'm, and I don't know. I really like the idea of beauty being that gift that you can give to somebody else. Yeah.
I want to end with this. Can I kind of make it awkwardly personal, Sal? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Dude. Go ahead.
So you were talking about you were talking about Nicole earlier, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So okay, do you love Nicole's beauty? Do you find her like physically beautiful? Do you love the physical beauty that she has?
Yeah, of course. Okay. Man.
Is she going to have that physical beauty indefinitely going into the future? Will she always have that same physical beauty even when she's old? It's a trap. It's a trap. Well, I mean, I don't know.
No.
Right?
I can answer it pretty quickly. Obviously we change physically. We get older and stuff.
Yeah. Let me stop you there. So let's stipulate. No, I mean, it's not always going to be at its apogee, right? I mean, poets write about this all the time. The flower of youth. It fades.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's
okay.
Let me stop you there.
Okay.
That's where, I mean, obviously we're not 60-year-old Nicole and Sal, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's, to me, with how I've come to understand beauty and come to love her so much because I know her, I know that it won't matter. And I know
that's where I'm going. Like, I mean,
she will be just as beautiful to me.
No, I understand. I understand that. But like, so that's like one aspect, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And like, what are some of the aspects of her soul that you find beautiful? Like aspects of her character that you find beautiful? I don't know.
Well,
Can you think of something?
So the thing with Nicole, so something that makes her like just so beautiful is she kind of anticipates your needs.
Okay.
And she's very good at anticipating and it might be the smallest thing. Like she noticed I was out of shampoo, or she noticed that we were out of something, or she remembered something randomly I said, and she was like, boom, like there it is.
So she's observant of your needs and she's looking out for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I know that sounds like really like
no, I know.
Like super.
Well, it's a very selfless. It's a very selfless
exactly.
virtue that she has.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now
and
here's my
so
question.
Many more things, but
here's my question: does she exhibit that virtue every day, nonstop? Does she always show it?
No, I guess not.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Okay. So think of all the beautiful things about her.
Yeah.
And are they constant and are they unchangeable? Frankly, not.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And look, I'm not trying to get you in trouble with your wife. But what that means is that her beauty points to a higher beauty.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. All of her best qualities, they could be better if they were constant and unchangeable.
Right.
And even if they were superior, frankly. Right? Mm-hmm. And maybe she has many flaws that maybe you wish that she didn't have. You know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Obviously, same with us. Right?
So many.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So that's what points to God.
Yeah.
Right? All the beautiful things of creation, also by their lack and also by their inconstancy, point to the possibility that, best of all would be if that beautiful thing is constant and unchangeable and eternal.
Yeah.
You see my point?
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like in the Divine Comedy, Dante. I love that picture in the Divine Comedy in Dante that the love of his life, Beatrice, is like this protagonist in the story. And the whole point about Beatrice is that she points in the direction of heaven. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So anyway, that's kind of what I was thinking.
No, totally. I guess I'll be sleeping on the couch.
Okay.
I don't know. I didn't say anything bad, did I?
No.
No.
Okay. Well, anyway,
I think that's cool. I want to talk a little bit, just real fast. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is kind of besides the point, right? Or I guess it's still on the point of beauty. But something that I've talked about the band Need to Breathe before. They came out with new songs. That was awesome. So 2 things real quick about them. About just the first thing is just the beauty that I think that they put out as far as when it comes to the gift of music and even just the singing and the playing. It's just awesome. I love this band. I want to say that you guys should go check out the 2 new songs they just put out, Hang On and Seasons. And Seasons is really cool, and it's about it's kind of a sad song, but it's also an uplifting song. The chorus being, "We're in for nasty weather, and I'll write it out with you. I'm going to be there for you. And we won't be riding highs and lows like tides of ocean blue. We won't be here forever, just a moment, then we're through. We can't be shifting with sands like seasons always do. Just really poetic, and it's just really beautiful. So I would say go watch that. I mean, go listen to that.
Yeah.
Now, a different song that they have called "Testify." I don't know if you've heard "Testify."
Yeah,
There's a really cool part in the bridge, and the words are: "Mist on the mountain, rising from the ground. There's no denying beauty makes a sound. We can't escape it. There's no way to doubt. Mist on the mountain, rising all around." Now, it gives me chills thinking about it because initially, I think mist on a mountain is beautiful. That looks really cool, right? Mm-hmm. But I think these words are so much more. I think it's so much more. Because if you've ever been on a mountain and there's mist, it's everywhere. There's no going and there's no getting away from it.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
And it says it. There's no, we can't escape it. And I think what they're getting at is that beauty is so much more than just seeing something and thinking it's beautiful. It's something that surrounds us, and whether and it just takes you, like we talked about the sloth. I don't know enough about the sloth, right?
Right.
But it's still beautiful, and it's there, right? So I don't know if I'm reaching here, but that's kind of how I read this and I see it, and it makes a sound, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I'm making sense with that, but I think it's really cool to kind of see it as something that we can't escape, something that completely surrounds us, and it takes us just kind of, seeking that truth and seeking that wisdom to be able to understand what is surrounding us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I also want to say, kind of related to this, I mean, obviously, I don't know that we've cracked the code as to what beauty is.
Yeah.
The whole point about it is that it is a mysterious thing. Like, same thing as what is the good, right? What is truth? What we're hoping for, and that hopefully we've at least been able to clarify, that there is a lot of room to think about here. And there are so many truths that we, very often with the truth, like we kind of grasp at it and we kind of get a hold of it. We know that it's there, okay? Yeah. And sometimes we get kind of close and we feel like we make a lot of progress. But there's still always a little bit of room for mystery. I'm not saying that we fully understand even what beauty is. That's part of its thing, that it's that it's a mysterious, that it has that quality that kind of envelops all of life. All of life is entwined with this mystery, actually.
Yeah.
So it's not something that we just dismiss and not think about because people have all their different opinions.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. That's the philosophic life that Plato says. The fool says, "Oh, look at all the different laws of the different cities. Oh, therefore they're all relative." That's lazy, right? What Plato sees, "Oh, look at all the different laws. I wonder which one is true."
Yeah.
Same thing with beauty. Same thing with goodness. Same thing with truth. Live the philosophic life. The life that is unexamined is not worth living. Aristotle said that. It's kind of intense saying, but I think that he's definitely saying something true there. So,
yeah. No, definitely. Okay. And something I want to say real quick before we get to our game is I posted. If you follow us on Instagram, I posted something a couple of days ago. And I didn't post again today because I wanted to wait until, or I guess the last 2 days, because I wanted to wait till this and be able to say what I'd like to do, and something that'd be fun. And I had posted a picture of actually when I worked out in Colorado in 2018 of a beautiful lake, Twin Lakes, Colorado. And I just posted and put a hashtag. I put hashtag 100 grams of beauty. And so what I'd want to do, is encourage.
That sounds like drugs.
I know, right? 100 grams of I did. Wow. It's all about drugs today, Jim.
Okay,
right?
I don't know what the problem is. Sorry, I interrupted.
No, you're fine. So I thought it was clever.
Okay.
I thought it was clever. So I guess please don't share pictures of you doing drugs. Okay.
Okay.
So what we're gonna do, what the Worldview Bros is gonna do, is we're gonna be posting 100 pictures of 100 beautiful pictures, and 100 grams being 100 Instagrams, right? Oh. So 100 grams of beauty. Yeah, there you go. See? Okay. Now you see the cleverness?
Oh, so
right?
clever. So clever.
Yeah. So what I want to encourage you guys to do is to post beautiful pictures. It doesn't have to be nature, right? We're going to post a lot of nature. Well, we're going to post other things too, because nature is beautiful, right? But there's a lot of other beautiful things, right? It could be a picture of perfectly stacked apples. That's still nature, right?
Yeah.
It could be a picture of somebody helping somebody up.
I really don't want them to post pictures of sloths. I mean, please don't do that.
Dude, I was literally about to say we're going to just get like a ton of people like putting sloths. So what I want you to do is post a beautiful picture, okay? And put the hashtag 100 grams of beauty and then put hashtag the Worldview Bros so we can see them.
Nice.
Right? So do that. I want to encourage you guys to do that.
Yeah, let's do it.
I'll keep reminding you guys that you don't have to do the 100-day challenge if you don't have to. But that the point is to do the challenge so that you can really start to see more beauty around you, right? And you can start to see that mist from the mountain coming, and be more aware of those things. So I want to challenge you guys to do that. Yeah.
I'm going to do that, Sal.
Cool. All right, guys. So going into our next thing, crazy. That was crazy, dude. I've been dying to, here's again, Sal talking about basketball, but we both love basketball. Okay, we both like basketball. So
maybe not quite at the same level, but yes.
Yeah, I don't know. So there's no NBA, right? I'm not watching live games.
That's got to be rough.
So, but with this, there's this mini series, guys, called The Last Dance. Okay, it's on ESPN, and it is a document series on the 1997-98 Chicago Bulls, who we all know is the 6th championship they won that year.
Yep.
And their second three-peat, right? With obviously Michael Jordan at the head of it, and other people we've named already.
A very good-looking guy.
Very looking, yes, definitely. Still good-looking old dude, Yeah. Except his eyes are kind of funny looking.
He is, yeah. Why are his eyes always red?
It's weird.
It's got to be the coke. I don't know, man.
He talks about the cocaine, how you could turn it down, the traveling circus.
Yeah, okay. So pretty much any time an athlete says that they saw drugs or something, it's like,
they're like,
I mean, I never touched that stuff. They always say that. I mean, come on. Everybody says this. Everybody. Dude, even
you heard it here first, everybody. We're calling Michael Jordan a cokehead.
Wasn't he? Even Rodman was saying, "Oh, I never did the drugs or anything crazy like that." Come on.
Meanwhile, Dennis Rodman's like, "Oh yeah, kamikazes,"
Yeah.
He's like, whatever.
So
Dennis Rodman is being another person. Their coach Phil Jackson.
Right.
It's Steve Kerr. A lot of these people, if you're an NBA head, you know all these names, right? So, anyways, to give a little bit context, it basically, for years now, for 20 years now, there's been this secret footage. Secret as in just hasn't been used.
Yeah.
But they pretty much filmed the whole season.
Yeah.
I mean, like...
That was surprising to me.
Yeah.
I was like, how did this not come out sooner?
I know, yeah. Nobody had done anything. And basically, it was Michael Jordan just not allowing it to...
Oh, really?
He had to give the consent.
Oh.
So basically... it's like practices, games, everything, the whole season. It's like they were the Beatles because they were, And that's the cool thing about Michael Jordan. He's just so, everyone, I'm almost certain everyone that's listening here or most people you ask, do you know who Michael Jordan is?
Well,
even people that weren't even alive at the time. Know who Michael Jordan is, and they kind of talk about his fame and stuff. But anyways, there's this footage that hadn't been used, and it's funny that it just hadn't been, like, Michael Jordan hadn't really given the green light to do it.
Yeah.
Until until LeBron James passed him in the all-time scoring.
Oh.
Right after that happened.
Wow. Okay.
He gave the green light.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, like, I mean, so just kind of seeing Michael Jordan's character, like, he's always, to me, been the GOAT. I mean, and I was like Mr. Fanboy, like the extreme fanboy at the time. Like,
yeah.
Of that three-peat, dude, like that's when I was like really into basketball, and I did not miss a single game. Actually, I take it back. Not the first championship. That would have been 95-96, right?
Yeah.
So that one
the second three-peat, you mean?
Yeah. So 96, 97, 98, right? So 95-96, I probably saw a few games. But that's when I really got into it. And then the 97, 98. Yeah. I did not miss a single
97?
game. Right.
96-97 was the 72 and 10.
Yeah, so I'm saying of those 2 years, I did not miss a game.
Yeah.
And so like even seeing like some of the footage of those games right now, I was like, dude, yeah, I actually remember, that particular game and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And
Dang.
But in terms of like Michael Jordan's character, you've seen him here or there. Like he is kind of very abrasive in many ways, right? And he's very megalomaniacal. He's very megalomaniacal and obsessed with himself. I have to say, right? So it seems so obvious to me, like he's got to be loving the attention that he's getting right now.
Definitely.
Am I coming on too strong? I mean,
no.
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, it's really.
And now
obvious.
that aspect of him is, I think, partly, of course, what makes him great.
Yeah.
It's like I've said before. Like I think a great movie that kind of highlights this phenomenon is the drumming, Whiplash.
Oh yeah.
Like usually excellence also comes at the cost of being a jerk and having other flaws in your character.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Same thing like with the greatest artists. The greatest artists, usually people who excel at something, very often they kind of let other things in their personal life kind of go by the wayside, I feel like. So,
definitely.
Which is a very interesting thing about life. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's really weird. Now I'm putting our Worldview Bros movie critic hats on. The way that this miniseries has been laid out and just done it's been beautifully done.
Oh yeah, it's very well done.
It's really well done.
Yeah.
All the way from the score, like all the music, to basically the way it's set up is that it talks about the strains between the team and the players and the front office, the general manager. Yeah. The coaching and
they make it into a story. Like they let the documentary just tell the story in a very story-like fashion.
And they set all these things up, and then obviously every episode that's kind of maybe Michael Jordan's the center of most of it, right?
Yeah.
But there's little parts of Scottie Pippen coming out, his story, his background, Dennis Rodman's background, things like
Phil
that,
Jackson.
And the way it goes, kind of like it's all about the 97-98, but then it it
goes back in time.
Even the way how it's like a literal timeline. It goes back in time, and it kind of sets things up. Who are these people? It's really, really cool.
Yeah, even if you're not huge into basketball, but you are interested in sports, I mean, you will definitely enjoy it. It's
No, and like one of the podcasts I listened to, and they've been talking about it. No Dunks, shout out. Their producer, he's not really a basketball like obviously he produces a basketball show,
right?
And he watches basketball.
Okay.
Like, I think it's like
not as knowledgeable as the
I think it's kind of turned into like a funny kind of shtick thing where it's like basketball. I don't watch basketball. Like I think it's partly true. And it's kind of probably almost like you, but you probably watch and know more than he does. But it's like you like basketball and you watch basketball.
Sure.
But like it's not the number one thing you do. Right. But anyways, like even he's like he talks about how beautifully made it is and things like that. He's not necessarily talking about all the basketball parts of it.
So it's 4 episodes in, right?
So so it's 4 episodes in, and
so far,
we've seen them talk about Scottie Pippen and Dennis Rodman and the crazy stuff, and even Phil Jackson, and how there's just a lot of what ifs in it that I thought was really cool. I wanted to talk to you about. You being, you have the advantage of watching MJ. I didn't get to watch MJ.
Yeah.
And even I think he's the GOAT. Which, that's how good he is, you know, or was. And so some of the what ifs that I thought were interesting were like, what if Doug Collins continued to be the coach, and it's like, that was the thing. Like Doug Collins, like Michael Jordan liked Doug Collins,
right?
And Doug Collins makes it a point to talk about all the achievements that Michael had while he was the coach. Like he won the slam dunk contest. He was an MVP. He did this and that, all-star, all those things, because his method was just let Michael do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Give him the ball and he's going to win.
Yeah.
And they went to, and that's the thing, 3 seasons in, they go to the Eastern Conference Finals and they lose to the bad boys. Detroit Pistons, and then he gets fired.
Yeah.
And then Phil Jackson takes over.
Right.
But so what I'm getting to at is that you see the kind of like the mastermind of Phil Jackson and balancing all these different people, and yet he ends up convincing Michael, because like, sorry, I'm getting to my point. What I'm getting as is like, what if Phil Jackson didn't take over, right?
Right.
And the thing is that someone like Phil Jackson, he seems so so weird and just kind of not like, just kind of like really unorthodox. And you would think that that's a person now thinking of Jordan. You would think Michael Jordan wouldn't really want to deal with somebody like him,
right? Yeah.
And he would think that he's crazy. Like, what the heck, But he was able to win Michael Jordan's loyalty and respect, and little things like, well, what if he didn't win with the New York Knicks? Maybe it was just because he had won championships before that. Michael Jordan kind of bought into this guy,
right?
Or maybe it really was that he really was able to captivate him and show him that, like, my methods work, man. Yeah. So I don't know. It's just kind of interesting what ifs of like, would the Michael Jordan be the same if Doug Collins would have stayed the coach?
And the way I guess I kind of read it is kind of seeing between the lines a little bit. It looks like the brain of some of the operation was this one guy who had developed the triangle offense and all that.
Tex Winter.
Right. And so it seems like it looks like Phil Jackson was amenable to, like, yeah, let's do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
kind of became a student in a way. Yeah.
Right. But I think also just willing to do it. Whereas Phil Collins is like, no, I'm going to do my thing.
Right.
Yeah. But it is interesting, like the whole drama with Krause and everything. It's kind of crazy. Like, and I tend to side with Krause in the sense of, not side with him in the sense, like, it's clear that he was kind of a petty person, and there's no denying that. And, but I mean, like, it's over. I mean, like, from what I hear and reactions, everyone is like totally agrees that you got to give him a lot of credit for putting this team together. Yeah. The fact that Scottie Pippen was just like no man's land, and he found this dude and he took a chance on him. Yeah. He could have gotten fired for that, but he found this guy and put him there. Yeah. He got Horace Grant. I mean, he got all these guys that really led to the success. He put Phil Jackson in, and all of a sudden it was like, boom, they won 3 championships in the 90s, 6, So I like, Jerry Krause seems like a weird person, and he probably was not very fun to be around, right? But But man, like, I think he deserves a lot of credit. No, yeah, I can see that. But what I don't understand is, why is it a thing that he doesn't want to have Phil Jackson or Michael Jordan, for that matter, and like the whole team for the next year? Like, why? Like, why was it automatically a thing that, 1998 is definitely going to be our last year because Phil Jackson is not going to be the coach? Why would you even? How?
That's where question. It's very clear that he was a petty person, a person that like.
Why did he want a different coach? Why?
Yeah, I mean, and I think part of it is it seems it's like a dominance move. Like it's like I'm the one in charge, and I like a god. It
certainly looks like that. I mean, unless they're going to give us more info. Yeah, unless they're going to give us more info, it seems like that.
Yeah. And so it's kind of crazy, and just the fact that if that was all that happened, I'm convinced if that was in 2020, that team would be derailed. That team would not survive. Like Twitter and social media and everything, dude. Like that team would not go on and win the championship. There's no way.
Yeah.
Like maybe, I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe because Jordan's greatness in the game of basketball, maybe he's so great that at basketball and such a competitor that he still would be able to do it in 2020 with all that drama. But I don't know, man.
I know that
a lot of it was known, but it wasn't really as magnified because of the times.
I know I was just a kid, but I watched all of those games, and like I never really picked up on anything.
Yeah,
like
did you
that.
know about the Jerry Krause stuff?
No, of course
only
not.
Only the reporters and the people
I'm
that
sure
were
it's in
super
the paper.
covering
Like,
it.
yeah, it'd have to be
that.
like people really inside baseball kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like inside basketball kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. So that's my point. I just think I don't know if this team really survives.
Yeah.
You know, whether how great Jordan is or whatnot. You know.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's been fun watching it and just talking. I like the idea of comparing. Yeah. Comparing the times of the NBA, and it's I don't know. It's sparked a lot of fun thoughts in my head watching it.
No, when it comes to like the production of this documentary, like it is pretty amazing that they have us like debating about Jerry Krause and like all this stuff. Like,
yeah, dude.
I mean. Yeah, it's interesting, but like the way that they're able to really make drama out of it is.
And I'm actually happy that it's being played the way it is now, because it's the only thing. Because essentially, like what was going to happen was, it was going to be they were going to air the episodes in between the finals games.
Oh.
That's when it was going to come on. But obviously, with all this stuff happening, it turned into then just this being on Sunday nights, And I've enjoyed it a lot. Yeah, it's funny how. And there's still so much more, So go check it out. The Last Dance. Even if you're not a basketball fan, I promise it'll be the drama of it is definitely still entertaining.
Your thoughts on Tiger King?
Yeah, so I was gonna say from one show to the next show. Okay, another mini documentary series, which this one definitely a lot more popular than The Last Dance.
It needs no introduction. Everybody's seen this thing.
The Tiger King. We're gonna do our shows just like that.
Oh,
we're gonna be shooting things in the background.
Yeah.
This is gonna be
like puppets of people.
Of who can we think that we just don't like?
I can't do the accent.
Let's
just get a sloth or something.
Let's get a sloth. We're just gonna kill that sloth. Oh my gosh, dude. This guy, I've never, like, after every episode, I mean, they did talking about how to make, like, the making of, Last Dance. This was made beautifully, too.
Yeah.
In the sense that, there we go, there's the beautiful
expertly
word.
Made.
Yeah, in the sense that after every single episode, or even in the middle of the little chunks of the episode, I was just like, these people are freaking crazy, man.
Yeah.
And obviously there's some things that seems like are kind of dramatized.
Yeah.
But I was just blown away. I was like, I've never seen anything like this. I've never seen anything so crazy.
No.
Yeah,
I mean,
with such a kind of stupid thing,
yeah.
Like it's just kind of dumb. Like I'm not saying I don't like tigers, and I think I would love to see tigers be out of captivity. I don't have anything against tigers, but it's just kind of a dumb thing. But it's just seeing these characters is just kind of crazy.
No, yeah, like I've been trying to think like this really kind of gripped the culture at large, and I don't know that I have too many opinions about it. I mean, obviously it kind of shows the faults of human nature.
Do you think that Carol Baskins killed her husband?
I mean, again, they make it very dramatic, right?
They make it very compelling that she did.
What
the whole like the legal papers that alone, I'm
true.
just like, what? Like in
That's true.
in the case of my disappearance, and
Yeah.
people saying that that's not common at all to see.
No, of course not. That was very strange. Yeah, and I'm forgetting what other like evidence they really had.
And
But
the van
didn't he
and-
say that like he was afraid of her or something like that?
Yeah,
Was
so
that-
he had
was that
given
thing?
a letter to his secretary or whatever,
Right.
his assistant, saying, you know, if anything happens to me, I want you to read this or something like that. Or
yeah.
I don't want to like say it wrong, but
Right, of
pretty
course.
much in the
Yeah.
letter, you know, having a restraining order or something like that,
Yeah.
and saying that she's attempted to kill or threatened to kill me or things like that.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
You know.
Now, again, like who knows? Maybe some of those things could be forged or whatever. Like obviously that investigation would have to go. But that's the thing. Apparently they're like reopening that investigation.
they are.
So here's my question: like, why would she want to go through this whole documentary?
She didn't really do it.
And obviously, like she's kind of playing along with the whole thing of being like, kind of like, oh, did I do it? You know, kind of thing.
Cool cats and kittens.
No, yeah, but like playing with the, I feel like playing with that image of her, that image of her that obviously you're trying to portray. Like, why would she agree to have all these interviews? You know?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like,
I mean, part of me wonders too, like when people. But when people do these interviews for these series and things like, they don't know what the finished product is going to be.
Yeah, I guess so.
You know, they don't know the editing. They don't know. I mean, for all they know is, oh, hey, we're doing a series on you and the Tiger King and your back and forth because he's in jail now.
Because it's all incredibly incriminating. Like you're seeing these people like
very much, yeah. So I don't know if she like.
Or this thug, like, what was that guy? Like, the guy who kind of took over the zoo?
Yeah. Oh, Joe. Yeah. Joe.
Freaking
thug.
Not
Joe. What's his name? Not Joe Exotic. Jeff.
Yeah.
Is it Jeff Lowe? Jeff Lowe?
Yeah, Jeff Lowe. That's right.
Yeah. And freaking crazy people like that other dude. What's his name? The guy with the long hair.
Oh, the zookeeper guy?
No, not
He's
the
like my favorite guy.
I'm talking about the other guy with the other zoo with all the women.
Oh, that guy.
Dude,
Yeah.
That dude seems crazy in a way that like he seems normal, but then like seems really crazy too.
No, dude, like you talk about degradation of women. Like that's one of the constants that I see here. Like, I mean, seriously. And I'm not like, like Mr. Feminist or anything. Like that how horrific, just like the objectifying of women. Yeah. And just like the story of that one girl who was like essentially like she didn't know what she was getting into. It's like, this is a freaking cult, man.
Yeah. And it's like
if
you
really
sleep with him, then you can be at the top.
And like she really felt compelled, like she felt that social pressure of like kind of like living that life. You know?
That's insane.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, again, like what I see is I see the bad side of human nature, And look, we're all fallen creatures. We're all capable of ultimately of evil of this kind, and especially like when it's like just keeps fed. Like you live in this. I don't know. It seems like they keep reinforcing their evil. Like. Here's another thought that I had though is I feel like too many of us are like very smug, like, oh, look at all those hicks in Oklahoma, obviously they're all so stupid and idiots, and like honestly, like all those, that that objectifying of women, that just refusal to kind of like get out of yourself and think about what's right. Like, I mean, everybody deals with that. Like everybody deals with, not to moralize or anything, but I feel like the temptation is to be smug and say, okay, obviously rednecks are like crap, like, of course those people are just, idiots or whatever. Yeah. So I don't know.
Can you, here we go. What was three questions I want you to answer about Tiger King. Tell me a thing you enjoyed about it. Second thing, tell me the thing you hated the most about it. And then the third thing is, what was the like most shocking or just kind of what gave you what shocked you, or what was the most just kind of like, whoa, like what the heck thing? Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Kind of thing about the whole series.
Well, what I like about it is, sometimes kind of seeing I feel like evil is too strong a word, but just like the self-destructive behavior of human beings, like the folly of human beings, in a sense, is kind of funny.
Yeah.
Like you kind of have to laugh at the human condition sometimes. It's
Yeah.
like, how do they get themselves into these situations? Just the absurdity of the whole thing. Like there's something tragic, but it's also like, oh my gosh, like this is hilarious. the human condition is hilarious. Yeah. But not I don't mean that in a degrading way. Like that's common to me and that's common to you. Like just our folly is humorous.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah.
But
what'd you hate about it?
And I don't know, like it's not like I really paid too much attention to the whole thing. But so I mean, it's difficult. I guess what comes to mind is like Carol Baskin. I mean, she's terrible. Like her that smarmy. Oh my gosh, how can you take that smarmy, man?
She killed him.
I don't want to make this like political, but dude, she's like a carbon copy of Hillary Clinton. Like that's Hillary Clinton talking.
Yeah.
The same like smugness and just like, oh dude, no, go away. Just go away.
Yeah. Okay, now what was the most shocking kind of like, wow, like?
Well, I mean, it's kind of shocking to me that like I said, that they just go along with these interviews. Like the hitman, like what the heck, hitman? Yeah. Like you're just kind of just out there, like, oh yeah, you know this happened.
He didn't testify in court.
Oh, anything. I see.
So he's kind of gone like he's a rogue.
He's a terrible hitman.
No, yeah. But there's that one, but like they interview him like he's in the bathtub or something.
Right.
What the heck? Yeah. So okay, I'll answer them real quick. What I liked about it was, I mean, besides the fact that like the animals, I know this sounds like such a cop out, but like the animals were really cool.
It's true.
It's cool to see the animals.
Yeah.
But no, I think overall, I think what I liked was that, kind of like what I said, I felt like I was like really engaged, and the mystery side to it. So I like the speculations of whether Carol not that I like that the dude is missing or whatever, you know. But just kind of the mystery.
Oh, the mystery
to it,
aspect.
You know,
Yeah.
That's a good point. Was really kind of fun, you know, to watch. Yeah. Also, like when his studio gets burned down and they're wondering who did it, those little things. So like I liked the mystery and kind of the trying to solve that kind of stuff. So that's intriguing to me. What I didn't like, what I hated, I mean, I guess I really hated, like, you know, we mentioned the degrading women. I think that was just kind of hard to watch. But I don't hate that they put it on there. I'm trying to think of like what I hated. Like it's like it made me not want to watch it.
Oh, right.
And I think it's hard for me to really find anything. It's hard for me to really like think of anything that just made me not want to watch it.
Oh yeah.
But I think if anything, what I hated or what I didn't like was how they didn't really go into depth with like all the characters, you know? And so you don't really have like a background on some of the people or enough, you know? Like for instance, like I felt like they didn't, I don't know, maybe because they couldn't, you know? Or they just, you know, obviously they can't ask all the questions, but kind of James Garrison guy, like, you know, what's his deal? Like, what's he, you know, why is he?
Oh, he's the guy who was the informant.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm kind of reaching because there's
Yeah.
not really anything I really hated
Right.
about it that made me not want to watch it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I can't really think of anything else. What shocked me the most was definitely, I know there's kind of a lot, and when I say it, you might be like, oh wow, yeah. When the guy Travis dies. Remember that?
Yeah, that's right.
And here's the thing, like, at first I had read it as like, or I had watched it. It seemed like it was a suicide.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was like really angry or something, and then he just
Yeah.
did like, he just boom,
Right.
you know, and he didn't. You see the guy's reaction, like, oh.
Mm-hmm. Right.
The guy who worked at Walmart, who is
Yeah,
his,
yeah.
his campaign manager.
Right.
And then, but then there's another. I don't know if you watched the thing that Joel McHale did. There was like an after show thing. It's on Netflix now.
Oh, okay.
There's one more thing, and it's like a after like, and it's basically like a Zoom call with all the different characters, and he talks to them and asks them questions. Joel McHale is pretty funny too. He's funny in it, and he talks to this guy, and basically the guy tells him that it wasn't a suicide.
Wow.
That he was showing him his new gun that Joe had got him, and he told him the type of gun it was that it won't trigger, or I don't know guns, right? But it won't trigger.
Oh, so you're saying it was an accident?
Yeah, and he was saying like he was kind of like he had been drinking, and he was just kind of out of it, and angry. The show makes it really seem like he
it was a suicide.
Himself, you know. That's what I assumed, right?
Right.
But he talks about how he was showing off his new gun, and he was like, "Watch, like it won't the gun won't go off because of some mechanism of the gun."
Oh dang!
But what he didn't realize was there was one in the chamber. Because the guy says, the campaign manager says that you can see, he saw in his face that it was kind of like an oh no. Like he pulled the trigger, and it was like he could see the reaction in his face was like, oh crap, what did I do?
Wow. And
then
dang,
gone.
that is shocking. Oh man.
Yeah, I was shocked when I heard it. I was like, that's a big deal. Because it seemed like it was like he was so distraught and then he killed himself right then and there. But he was just kind of being stupid.
Wow.
Which is kind of crazy.
Dang.
It's like really crazy.
Yeah.
So that was the most shocking thing to me, just that whole ordeal.
Yeah.
Of the way he died.
But, well, anyway, from the tragic to, like, the other thing that occurs to me is just hilarious, dude, are the music videos. Like, come on. Yeah. That's my favorite part.
Yeah. I mean, like, that's totally not his voice.
Well, no, of course not.
But then he claims that he likes to sing and he plays guitar and all those things.
No, that's not his voice, right?
No, it's not.
No, of course not.
Yeah, no. I don't. I mean, they don't say that.
I find them very hilarious. I think they're pretty great.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, do I want to see more? Yeah, maybe.
I'm done.
But would I rather watch The Last Dance? Well, you betcha I'd rather watch The Last Dance. Yeah. So go watch The Last Dance, guys. It's not even over yet. You got more to come.
Yeah. I don't even really recommend Tiger King. I mean, I felt like I had to watch it because it's part of culture. Yeah. But nah. Yeah. No, I'm good without that. Yeah. So, anyway, awesome. I need to find something better to watch.
Yeah. Hey guys, so man, everywhere from beauty to Michael Jordan to the Tiger King. We want to know what you have to say, right? If you have a comment, you have an opinion on something that we covered, whether it's beauty stuff or even any of the fun things that we talked about. If you have something you want to tell us and you want us to know, go ahead and email us at the Worldview Bros. Comment on any social media. Comment on comments section below. So tune in. Check out our podcasts and videos in the future. I know we're not on a weekly really schedule or anything. Just kind of as we deem, whenever we want to.
When the muse calls us, yes.
Exactly. So when the summer comes, it'll change up and stuff. Yeah. But go ahead and follow us and stick with us, guys. Yeah. Thanks for joining us, and remember that.
Well, don't forget, truth is too precious to give up on.
Exactly. Thanks, guys. See you later.
See you guys.